Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kendall, and this is my first attempt at recording something, so my apologies in advance. I have a pen here that I just haven't seen many reviews on, and thought, well, why not? Why not make a video? Share some of my thoughts about it, and it is the Majohn / Moonman X1. This is a copy or knockoff of a much more expensive pen, a Montblanc Boheme, which there are lots of videos on that, but there aren't many videos on the X1. So I thought this might be helpful for people. And I guess first off, the topic of knockoffs versus copies versus inspired by versus a straight out forgery or a counterfeit is a bigger topic, probably for a different video. But I think this is this is a good way to see if you like this pen without spending several hundreds of dollars. This pen, at the time of this video, I purchased this pen for about $33, which included shipping. I've seen them $40, $30, so right around that range. So let's go over this pen, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what I think. If you've seen the Boheme pen, you'll see that this is very similar. There are a few versions of that pen. This pen, there's really just a black and a white, and the jewel, I think, is always red. They have this Moonman symbol on the top of the finial, which I think is really cool. Overall, it's a pretty nice quality. You will have some fingerprints on this metal part here. It's got a nice, I don't know if you'd call that ridged or fluted body to it. And then at the end, there's some threads and an interesting end cap, which we'll talk about in a second. So, this is a very unique pen in that when you twist off the cap, it's quite a few twists, by the way. Let me see if I can count those. I don't know if you do full rotations, but basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite a few twists there. When you get it off, the nib is not there. You'll actually, this is a very smaller sized pen, so you go to put the cap on the bottom, and as you twist it on, it actually twists the mechanism inside, and you'll see the nib come out. So overall, it is a kind of a gimmicky thing, but it's also cool. It's very unique, and it's I guess it's a kind of a callback to the style of safety pens, but really it doesn't serve a purpose other than it's kind of cool. It's got a very smooth glide, and when we take this piece off, you can see the nib down in there, and then there's also a little post inside of the cap, a little post in there, so that it prevents you from closing it with the nib open. There's almost enough room for the nib to fit in this cap, not quite, but this is quite a smaller pen. In fact, I'll show you some comparisons here. All right, again, lots of twisting. All right, so here's our Majohn X1, and let's compare it to a TWSBI Diamond 580. I've got a Faber-Castell Ambition And let's throw a Sailor Compass 1911 in here. So it is a small pen. Let's show this. I mean, I suppose you could use it unposted. Let me show you. All right. So it does fit. My hands are kind of average to larger size, and it does fit. It just looks better with that. But let's compare these. See, now it doesn't have the roll stop. To say this TWSBI, which I use almost exclusively in unposted. So it is shorter by quite a bit. So the way this works, there's really not a room for a converter. It's actually just cartridge. So there is a little hinge on here. You can tell there's a difference on one side versus the other. And you open that up and you'll see a cartridge. Actually, if you twist this mechanism, see here, you'll see the cartridge. So, and to note, the cartridges do not come with the pen. In fact, I got this on AliExpress. It didn't come in a box. It just came bubble wrapped, which is fine by me. I'm not really collecting the boxes. There's a lot of working parts in here, so I'll cover that as a pros versus cons. And as far as how to clean, really it is going to be tricky. I would recommend, this is what I'm going to try when I do end up cleaning it, is to get a cartridge that's cut off and use a bulb syringe to clean it. I typically don't use cartridges. I like to fill from bottles, so likely I will just clean out an empty cartridge and fill it with a syringe or something. So let's do a little writing sample. So there is a lot of twisting involved. You twist the cap off, you twist to post, but the nib comes out as you twist. So you can say it's a little finicky that way. All right, I've got some Rhodia paper here. Let's try this. This is the Majohn, pardon my handwriting. The X1. They only come in an extra fine nib. And I paid about $33. I've seen these around $30 to $40. All right, let's do some strokes here. You can probably hear it does have some feedback to the nib. Ink here is Diamine Red Dragon, which I quite like, and it kind of matched the jewel here. Obviously, it's a fake jewel, and in the real Montblanc, that would be a an actual precious gem of some kind. But it is nice ink. I quite like it. Let me try some writing here. You can listen to the nib. Yeah, overall, not bad. I have noticed that the feed does not quite keep up, at least earlier. It could have been the cartridge, the flow. But it is just an extra fine. I prefer to see more ink on the page as I write. So it's a little boring in my opinion that way. But it definitely has the cool factor of the gimmick, if you will. So let me see. As far as pros and cons, I think one of the big pros here is its unique design. Obviously, it's a knockoff, but it's not as a design you'll see in many pens. It's also a lot lower price than the Montblanc that it's copying. So if that's on your radar, this would be a good idea to try, just to get a feel for the mechanisms, all of those things before you invest hundreds of dollars into a pen. It's a decent writing experience. It's a small pen, so it could work for pocket. However, and also I'd say the quality is pretty decent as well. So I will say some of the cons here. It is gimmicky, right? There's really no useful purpose to retracting that nib. It's not sealing it like a vanishing point style. It's still exposed to the air. It is a knockoff, so some people are not going to feel comfortable about that idea. It's only an extra fine, and I don't know that I would recommend trying to pull the nib and feed out or take it apart. I would be afraid of something breaking down, especially in the future. Another con is it only takes a small converter. That could be an issue, and really you don't have a way of seeing your ink level. There's no ink windows or anything like that. So I think there's definitely some issues there. Overall, I like it. I think my biggest con is usefulness. If I want to take a quick note, it takes all those threads to unscrew it and to cap it to take a note. And then if I want to put it back, you've got to go through that process again. So this pen is not for taking a quick note and then putting the cap back on, which is most pens, mostly what I do. If you know you're going to be writing for a while, then yes, I think I could see getting this pen out, and it does write well enough. It's kind of boring to me as far as extra fine. It's smooth enough that I could enjoy writing with it, and it's got that right amount of feedback. But overall, I don't see this being a pen in my collection that I would want to use a lot, just because, just now I'm like, okay, I'm going to put the cap back on. Well, I can't. The nib is extended, so you definitely have that. Overall, those are my thoughts. This video is me dipping my toe into the video creation process, but I do plan on making more videos, reviews on pens, tips for beginners, things I've learned. There's products I've seen that just haven't got as much attention or love that I feel like they should, and so that's where I feel like maybe I can contribute. So all that is to say, if you would please like my video, that helps the algorithm. And if you would subscribe, you can click the bell to be notified if I add, when I add more. And let me know what you think, first of all, of my attempt at making a useful video, as well as what you think of the X1. Obviously there's the controversy of, well, it is a knockoff. But besides that, what do you think? And anyway, I appreciate it, and thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.